Addressing culture shock using the U-curve hypothesis. There are 4 stages of the U-curve hypothesis. They are the honeymoon stage, the hostility stage, the humor stage, and the home stage. These are the 4 stages students go through as they adjust to and adapt to a new culture. This is an important concept for teachers to understand because it helps them understand the struggles and feelings a student has while they are adapting to a new culture. The first stage an individual goes through is the honeymoon stage. At this stage, students enjoy the new culture and everything is new and exciting. The individual often feels like they have been given an exciting new opportunity. They are very excited to learn about the new culture at this stage. The second stage is hostility. At this stage, the excitement of the new culture typically wears off. As time passes, differences show up between the new and old cultures. The norms of the new culture seem difficult to understand. These things lead to feelings of hostility, anxiety, frustration, and anger. Students in this phase often want to disengage, feel tired, are sick and overwhelmed, and they sometimes will rebel. The third stage is the humor stage. In this stage, the individual begins to process his or her feelings of frustration, embarrassment, and disappointment. Their cultural identity is reshaped. They are able to use humor and laugh at their mistakes caused by cultural mismatch. The fourth and final stage is the home stage. In this stage, the individual has a deep understanding of the second culture and its customs, as well as have near-native literacy development. They also begin to celebrate their bicultural identity. Unfortunately, there are individuals who get stuck in earlier stages and do not ever reach this stage. Students in the hostility phase can experience impatience, anxiety, frustration, and anger. They may feel alienated, sad, threatened, and indecisive. It is often hard for the teacher to understand or empathize with what a CLD student is going through, but there are signs that teachers can look for. Students in the hostility phase disengage from school and start to daydream. They may complain of being sick or tired. Students can start to show rebellious behavior against their new school and culture. They could even rebel against their own culture by negotiating their personal identity. Teachers should strive to provide a supportive, respectful, and caring school environment and try to empathize with students who are going through this process. Teachers should support a student's ethnic or cultural heritage every day, not just during a once-a-year celebration. Building relationships with students who are going through culture shock is important. Teachers can discuss with students how they are feeling to help them understand their own feelings. A member of our group recently witnessed a teacher in her building create a caring relationship with a student who is very new to the United States. First, she spoke to him in his native language and learned about his family and experience at school so far. She transitioned to speaking in some English and praising him for his effort. This teacher then introduced him to some of his peers and helped engage all of them in conversation. This kind of support is essential for students in culture shock because of the repercussions if a student doesn't bounce back from this hostility phase. The implications of the U-curve hypothesis if a student remains in the hostility phase are absence from school or work, maladaptive behavior, suspensions in and out of school, and dropping out of school. Students in the hostility phase of the U-curve hypothesis may frequently miss school, which decreases their likelihood of graduating. Maladaptive behavior can be a behavior that is used to reduce anxiety. It will be unproductive and dysfunctional to the student working on a new language. Some examples of maladaptive behavior include drugs, depression, aggression, self-injury, or eating disorders. Students stuck in the hostility phase are more likely to be suspended in or out of school. Students have an increased chance of dropping out of school when they are stuck in the hostility phase. As a recap from the beginning of the presentation, during the humor stage, CLD students are able to process their feelings and their cultural identity is reshaped. During the home stage, CLD students have a deeper understanding of their second culture. Providing a supportive, respectful, and caring school environment can aid in moving out of the hostility phase. Students who are experiencing the hostility phase of the U-curve also benefit from discussions with their teachers to help them better understand their own acculturation process. If CLD students better understand their acculturation process, they are more likely to move to the humor and home stages. Confronting challenges in the humor phase yields an enhanced cross-cultural understanding of differences, norms, values, beliefs, and behaviors. Students need to be willing to confront their challenges with the support of their teachers. Some CLD students learn to cope through a higher level of engagement with either the language learning community or their own academic endeavors. Teachers can provide CLD students with the opportunity to engage with other CLD students in projects and group work to allow them to learn as a language learning community. One way for teachers to better understand the degree of a student's identification with his or her own culture and his or her level of acculturation is to have teacher-student conversations prior to instructional planning. Teachers who purposefully converse with their CLD students prior to planning often find that teaching effectiveness is improved, reteaching is reduced, and students are more motivated. In order for CLD students to feel welcome in class, it's beneficial for all students' culture to be embraced. Teachers can provide opportunities for students to think about aspects of their culture that they would like to share with the rest of the class. By allowing students to share about their cultures, the class is able to learn about their peers, and the teacher is able to learn and understand more about student backgrounds. In classrooms where cultures and languages of students are visible and valued, a sense of community develops among students and the teacher. The information that students share about their culture becomes a source for planning and teaching. Cultural information can also be used to modify instruction, aid in student groups, and tie content to prior knowledge.